Hello, CASA friends. My name is Elizabeth Nichols, and I'm an advocate and legislative team member with CASA for Kids of South Central Texas.
Hi, I'm Pat Smith.
And I'm Vicki, Pat's wife, and we have been CASA advocates for almost 2 years.
Hello, this is Ursula Stevens, and this is my CASA story.
As a CASA volunteer, I am the voice of the children. I advocate for the children, meaning that I campaign, fight, and promote what I determine to be in their best interests.
I decided to take the leap to advocacy, and it's been an amazing experience. Whoever said the Peace Corps is the toughest job you'll ever love has never been a CASA. Advocacy is very rewarding, it's very challenging, it can be inspiring, and also frustrating. Some days it is hard, but the work we do is so vital to the children that we serve.
We have 3 cases, a 16-year-old who lives in Bell County, a 17-year-old who lives in Colorado County, and a 1-year-old baby who lives in Bell County.
I'm from a family of 8 siblings and a retired educator, so serving children was an easy choice. I was trained and sworn in as an advocate in 2009. I have had 9 cases and have served 18 children. Of those 18 children, 5 were reunified. They were returned to their parents. 4 were adopted. 8 are living with relatives, and 1 aged out of the system.
We all know there are children in situations where perhaps no one makes sure that they go to school or that they have healthy food to eat. They might be taken advantage of by a family member or people associated with a family member. But it's very shocking when we see it happening in our communities.
One case very dear to me involved 2 siblings. They were 5 and 11 years old when I first met them. The children had just been placed with paternal grandparents through kinship. I first met the children at their grandparents' house. The 5-year-old hid under a table because she was terrified. The 11-year-old had sunken eyes and didn't smile or talk and was terribly thin. These children had just been taken from their emotionally, physically, and sexually abusive mother's home. The father didn't want to be bothered with any of this. He had his second family, which was his priority. But the grandparents moved mountains for these children. After extensive research and getting to know all parties, it became apparent that the children needed to be permanently placed with the grandparents. I worked in conjunction with the grandparents' attorney to be sure their interest and subsequently the children's interests were represented in court. I was very happy and relieved with the outcome of this case. It took a lot of hard work, but the children are now with their loving grandparents and will never be harmed again. I have remained close to the children and grandparents and have had the pleasure of watching the children begin to heal, trust again, and thrive. They are now 9 and 15 years old. They laugh, play, have friends, and are succeeding in school. This was my responsibility as their CASA to ensure this outcome, as it is every CASA's job to do.
Now, our 17-year-old was removed from the home because of the capability of the parent to protect and provide for the teenager was insufficient. So she was placed in an emergency shelter for 30 days in Harris County and then moved to Jefferson County in a group home.
After 6 months, she was reunited with her mother. And since she has been with her mother, she has moved 3 times, changed school districts twice. She has poor attendance in school, but her grades are acceptable with the exception of math. Although she lives with her mom, she remains under the supervision of DFPS.
My first case was a very special case. This was a child I met at Texas Children's Hospital in the neonatal unit. She was born with fetal alcohol syndrome, not a very good outlook. She was adopted, and immediately her adoptive parents had the ECI exam done. They did everything they were supposed to do. The exercises, singing to her, talking to her, reading to her. This is a success story. She now lives in the Netherlands and is fluent in 2 languages.
We received a call from CASA wanting us to take an infant in Bell County. The 1-year-old baby stole our hearts. She was removed from her parents because of neglect and abuse by one parent and the inability of the other parent to protect the infant. Both parents are using drugs and domestic violence is occurring. There are lots of reasons to be an advocate, but the best reason is that there are children who have been removed from their homes and their parents. They need someone to speak out in court about what is in their best interest, and that someone is a CASA advocate.
So what is it you asked to be a CASA advocate? What is it like?
It's meeting some of the most extraordinary people who are called foster parents.
And it's getting phone calls sometimes saying, thank you.
It's having a staff member say, I've got another case that needs your special touch. Will you do it?
Currently, I have 2 cases, and in many ways they're very different, but at the core they're much the same. There are children involved who need someone working in their corner to see they get a chance at a better life. A life where they're safe, someone looks out for them and loves them. These children need dedicated individuals working on their behalf because their past does not have to be their future. The prophet Daniel uses stars as a metaphor for men and women who work for justice, as their efforts bring light that pierces the darkness. Think of CASA as a constellation of many stars, all bringing light, hope, and justice to these children. In whatever way you can assist CASA, whether it's as a mentor, a board member, an advocate, or a donor, whatever you can do, you too will be part of the constellation. So be a star and bring light to the darkness. Thank you for supporting CASA.